So, good evening everyone. Today we have third class of environment and biodiversity. So, overall how many questions were? 12 questions including today. Tomorrow you will have 2 questions from same topic, 2 questions from disaster management. So, tomorrow and one more class will be there for disaster management. That will be probably on Monday. Saturday we have some other program going, so may not be free and all issues. So Monday we will do disaster management, the second class. So that's it. How was today's paper? लिखा पढ़ के आया था कितना लिखा? All 4. Very good. All written, all 4. How was it? Easy? Challenging? In answer writing. Question was? I think data is a big matter in environment. Like in security, you can juggle with examples at so many places. You can escape. Give decent justification with 1-2 examples you have, 1-2 case studies, it will be done. Here, most of the argument you need some data to substantiate it. You think क्या कर सकता है? Something like workbook. देखता है, not sure about. In pollution and all, there is predictability. There is air, water, other radio, e-waste, something certain it is. Wetlands. ये भी directly repeat हो रहा है, something like. सोचता है. What else? Start करें. Same approach we are following. What we are doing today overall? I think you are all very clear about how to structure answer, how to space allocation. That things we are not discussing nowadays. Somebody is watching new, we have started from IR. So all these class what we are doing is, you have 2 page for 10 marker and 3 page for 15 markers. So if a question is asked, you have to exactly fill maximum page for exactly what is asked. If features of a scheme is asked, major part of your space should occupy the features of the scheme. You can include the context, why the scheme is launched. You can include challenges, way forward. All these are very good value additions. But all these should be minor parts. Major part of your answer sheet should be what is exactly what is asked. And if you don't know exactly what is asked, to some extent you guess. Like in one question, WHO question, we did yesterday. Even if you don't know, you need to attempt it to some certain level. Some decent guessing you can do depending on the question, topics and all. What else? If still it is not working, don't go for some question you don't have content. It is a very specific question. Even after guessing, you will get very less points. In that kind of question, don't try to fill all the pages. Save time there. 1.5 page, leave it there and go for the next question. Don't write something which is totally not asked, and don't do that and fill the pages. What else? That is about general structuring of answer, what we have been discussing also. What else we are doing is, in every topics like causes of air pollution, consequences of XYZ, we are trying to give some structure to the thinking. Structured thinking. If you have a very generic outlook, still you can write the points, but the points may be unidirectional. Some points, very important points, you will be missing. Like there was one question on city planning yesterday, sustainable development. So if you have some approach how to think, then multidimensional point can come. Otherwise, migration point, maybe you will forget. We will focus more on infrastructure. That bias will be there in answers. To avoid that and to generate 4 or 5 very quality points, we are trying to give some structure to the point generation. And here also 7-8 methods we have discussed. So one thing which you can notice is, in IR there was a very static, one structure was applicable in many questions. So it was still very easy to inculcate. In others, that is very difficult. In security, we have seen temporal approach, spatial approach, all these different aspects. So you have to, according to topic, you have to decide it, and for every subject you should have 4 or 5, this is what I am going to do. Like here we have specific SDGs, we never did. We never generated points according to SDGs. So that is something we can really explore in it. That is maybe more applicable in this. In environmental questions also, agriculture questions also, it may be applicable. But that is something which is new, which we learn from doing this environment and disaster management. What else? Then basic things we all covered. I think you are all not making mistakes nowadays. Don't like overwrite introduction, don't put unnecessary stuff. In diagram also there was one mistake which I have been commonly seeing is, you make India map, if it is a security question, give something security aspect to it. Don't make it a geography map. Don't show Meghalaya, Assam, Northeast. That is not the point. Do some insurgent, where is the insurgent affected areas. Give some aspects of security into that map. In biodiversity, if you are making a map, Ramsar site you are citing, give some aspect to it. Why there is one question today on coastal mining. So anyone made a map of it? You can think of, if possible. Yes. Map should, whatever diagram you are including, it should convey some arguments. If it is conveying some argument or other points you are writing, if I can clearly understand the point looking at the map, then it makes sense. Otherwise, for the sake of diagram, don't try to push it inside the answer. You are making so much diagrams. Abhi bana raha hai. Okay. Your answer always have some diagrams. Ye aaj ka hai? This is also one very good approach. Always keep some sort of creativity. Something like this, something box. But don't move away from what is the demand of the question. Everything is good. Don't make it like one whole page here, and that is not what is asked. ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay. So that's all the basics what we are doing. We'll discuss 4 questions and see what more we can get out of it. So this is first question, read it. Coastal sand mining, whether legal or illegal, poses one of the biggest threats to our environment. We have a statement, analyze the impact of sand mining along the Indian coast, citing specific examples. So how you address this? Tell me. We have a statement. What will you do to substantiate it? You are giving how it is a biggest threat. This part you are trying to substantiate. Or very good. Citing specific examples. What are positive points of sand mining? That part we don't have in PPT. Anyway, that's very good. So first part you are doing is biggest threat to environment. Some substantiation you are giving. You can club it with introduction also. If no definition, no data you are getting into mind, club whatever the statement is, idea of the statement, club it with introduction. One whole page, how much? 10 marker. Only 2 page you have. 1 page you allocated to all this. That's 50% in the size, but we need to answer more what is asked. Should not be 50%, it should be half page. 1 page you cannot dedicate to this. All this you write introduction, including introduction, biggest threat of it. All this should compress it into half page or just more than half page, not more than that. What else? Sand mining issues. Here we have analyzed, so you may include positive, negative. Focus more on negative. Trend of after that. If you still have space, include a way forward, steps or whatever. Then conclusion, you can write something. So that is it. All. Anyone did anything else beyond this? Don't write separately. Like I will also show in separately, because that is comfortable for you to understand only. But in actual exam, it is better you club example within this. When making argument itself, example should reflect there itself. It should not be separate box. Okay. Let's move ahead. This is, we are starting with some data. 60 million tons of sand is being mined every year. That is the demand of the sand. What else? There is a term like legal or illegal. So giving some perspective on it may be okay. So is it legal or illegal, beach sand mining? It is in generally banned under this Coastal Regulation Act 1991, but to some extent it is permissible. Why is it news recently? What is the controversy regarding beach sand mining and all? Since last maybe 6 years. Since last 6 years, private sector is banned from doing the beach mining, and government is now trying to think of reopening it for private sector. So due to this, there have been some articles regarding this in news. Yes, some recent changes. So that is why something in prominent. Beyond that, that is always coastal mining is always in news. Why? There has been degradation in Kerala coast, in Tamil Nadu coast. Almost all coastal states have some certain issues with coastal mining and all. Now 75% of sand mining happening in India is illegal, considered to be illegal. 75 is quite big number. So something like that you can include biggest threat dimensions also part of this introduction. Move ahead. So here what we are doing is impacts of sand mining along Indian coast. So what we are doing is we are thinking of how to generate some of the points. So one approach, this is similar to what we have discussed yesterday. Either you can think on these dimensions, environmental dimensions, economic dimensions, something else. Social, here it is written natural capital. You can think on social also. That is, anyone followed this? How did you generate points? Like in sustainable development, we discussed this. Environment, economic, social. So you can think along these lines. Impacts of coastal mining on different aspects. Not just limit to environmental aspects. What else? All you can think along SDGs. We have 17 SDGs. Everything will not be applicable here, but at least if 6-7 SDGs you can connect with, you will get the points. But for that you should be very thorough with the sequence of SDGs, what are in SDGs, how to do that. One small slide we shown how to make notes of it. So better do it now itself. How much? 17 SDGs. Few SDGs you will club it, like poverty, zero hunger, no need to separate it out. So maybe in 10 page, a half page if you are allotting to one topic, within 10 page or 12 page, you have all SDGs. SDGs, not just SDGs, we are dividing into targets, some kind of achievements, what else? Government schemes, what else? Challenges and way forward. So all SDGs make a table, something like that, and list down 4-5 targets. Will be 1-2. Don't go too much into it, numbers and all, don't go do that. Just understand it is related to poverty, zero poverty or no poverty or something like that. Achievements, you need to put in some effort. Latest data you need to collect, Niti Aayog data, some related data which shows the improvement, or converse also, vice versa also. Government schemes, 4-5 schemes list, major schemes only. And here also don't make an exhaustive list, 10-20 schemes you don't need. Whatever topic came, you need only 4-5 schemes to mention. And challenges also limit to 4-5, rest you will make up in the exam. Way forward also, way forward may focus more on writing some case studies, writing some specific examples where some poverty eradication has been done. So do this exercise, keep it handy. And it's not right for an environment, we are doing it for every GS paper, it can be used liberally. So that is two approach. Either you can go with this SDG approach, environment, economic and social aspects, you can generate points, or go with SDGs. What is this? There is one more thing we discussed when, one more thing we discussed on security. When you are getting any report regarding sand mining or security aspect, terrorism report, just go through what are the parameters. Just go through the report and see the parameters. And if that parameters is, every report you cannot replicate. Many report the parameters may not be useful to you. Only data we can reproduce in the exam. But if there is some report where that parameters can be used as some kind of point generation framework, where we use this? Terrorism. Legislative measures, technical measures, legal measures, all these 4-5 dimensions of certain terrorism index we have seen. Money laundering, it related to money laundering. So whatever report you are preparing, do this exercise also. Data anyway you will take from the report, India ranking, how much is the XYZ data, that anyway you are doing. But beyond that, just have a look at the different parameters. And if you can just list down it in half page, then do it. Only do it if it is in half page. If some report is having 20 parameters, don't do it. There is no use of it. Only 4-5 dimensions you can think of. That is only we can stick in mind. So in that direction you prepare this. So what is here, what we have done? This is another aspect of it. This is taken from UNEP report on sand mining. So go through the report, you will see a box like this. If you are making digital note, it's just 1/3 page. Just put it there and finish it off. And whenever you are going through, just go through it, then you will remember some of the points. These are not generally you can by heart this, but connections you will anywhere remember if you go through it regularly. After that you generate point like this also, you can cite the examples. Okay. So what I have done here, we discussed so many approach. Here we have what is done here. We are dividing it into, what we are going is coastal mining is happening. We need to generate point on its impacts. So what we are doing is geographical aspects. Let's clear up. We are dividing it into geographical aspects. Terrain will be, coastal terrain will be impacted. Coastal erosion will increase due to mining. Now this is regarding coastal terrain, like within sea part or coastal part. This is inland water bodies will be impacted. How? Estuaries, delta, there will be more seawater intrusion into it. What else? Marine ecosystem will be impacted. Natural sea processes will be disturbed, and this will lead to impact fisheries. You can connect this with economic aspect also. After that, something related to biodiversity, how this impact life systems. Like this is also geographical point. After that, missed it. Then we connect it with disasters. What is disaster vulnerability is increasing? How? Coastal degradation will increase. Buffer zones, mangroves will be lost. All these you can connect. Climate change, how will you connect? Sea level increase. Sea level, connect it with sea level rise. Sea level, which report you will cite? Connect something related to IPCC. So sea level is going to rise like it by 2050, all our cities, Mumbai, Kochi, Madras, all are under risk of submergence. So you can say something like that. That is from 6th assessment report. And remembering that is not that difficult. Assessment report, we have been speaking it all days. And it is not a specific data also. So whenever you are citing risk of sea level rise, try to connect it with IPCC report, all this. What else? Coastal infrastructure is under risk. Coastal pollution. Then we are coming more into economic aspect. Livelihood will be affected. Fishermen communities' livelihood will be affected. Tourism will be affected. You can cite example of Goa. If beaches are not there, then what tourism will you have in Goa? Yes. Migration impact, social impact, you can write those. Anything else you have written? So the idea is if you have some structure to give some structure to the thinking, after that 10 points easily you can generate. If 10 is not coming, 7, 8 you should generate. And even in that 7, 8, if 3, 4, 5 point is having some data, some example, some credibility to it, that will make very good impression. Down water table, salinity will increase. Yes. Oliveri title, all these will be impacted. Sundarbans will be affected. All this you can connect with. Examples you can think on that lines also. Different types of coastal areas, what kind of ecosystems are there. Like what is having in Kutch is not what is having in West Bengal. So you can connect with that also. Very good. What else? Anything to add? You have written something? Yeah. What else? Positive aspects that is not covered here, you can write. How many of you have written? The keyword is analyze. So you have some flexibility to write some positive aspects of it. But thing is, this is mostly a negative topic. Coastal sand mining, this is having a more of a negative attitude. So don't make it a very big part of your answer. Make it small. 3, 4 points you are citing, that is good enough. Which points will you cite? Coastal sand mining, it is asked. Mining means what minerals are important in coast? Monazite, thorium reserves we told in nuclear questions. Beyond that, job generation, all this coastal infrastructure development, all this you can connect with. So here are some certain examples. You can see how the coastal lines are going ahead. This is red line, you can see. This is 1968 and that this is 2012 lines. This much of coast is being lost. This is Kerala map in Kalam district, I guess, near to Trivandrum, at the southern end of Kerala district. So you can see how much impacts, like there are cases of so many islands were there. These islands are all disappearing. Even it's not ending in 2012, this rate is increasing. So all this ecosystem, all this infrastructure, livelihood, everything regarding in that area is being impacted due to it. You can examples you think on different coastal lines, like in Sundarbans, how will be affected. In that Odisha, what is name? Bitakanika, how these Oliveri titles will be impacted. Goa beaches, 60 feet land, 5 feet land is already lost due to coastal mining and all. Tamil Nadu, mainly mining is doing for critical minerals. Go ahead. Yeah, this is way forward. That is also not too much into, that is not too much required here, because that is not exactly asked. But still you can give a diagram, you can give a something like representation, 2, 3 points you can add. So this is also taken from the same report. Recently this UNEP report on sand mining was in news. These are the recommendations which you should do. So in future, like sand mining is kind of evergreen topic. This year we had question on what? 2022. Not remembering. Coastal erosion. There was one question on coastal erosion. So coastal erosion, sand mining, something like that. In CRZ also controversy is going on. Regulation of coastal zone, Lakshadweep issue was going on before. So all these sometimes this is always in news, one reason or the other. So this can be asked in the future also. That's why we have included this also. The idea is this is also taken from the UNEP report. When you are having some report, one specific where recommendations are there, then take a note of it. These points no need to by heart. They are very generic. You can connect this with our specific cases. How to implement the XYZ, some points of these in improvement of Sundarbans, how to improve something in Kerala. Think on that lines and develop the way forward. Now there are other specific measures mentioned here. What is sand? Sand, one major use is in construction. Infrastructure, construction, everything sand is being used. So what is sand? Which should be used for construction activities. What is it? Marine sand, not marine sand. Very outward guess. What else? What else it can be? Sand is natural, right? This is manufactured sand. It is. Idea is it is artificial. It is made from quarries by crushing the stones. So idea is you don't need to go to sand mines and you don't need to create issues in the riverbed. But still other side it is creating issues in the quarries and hilly areas. But still promoting of that is one alternative solution to this. Anyway, we are having so much infrastructure projects. That pipeline, this pipeline, which is major one. NIP, National Infrastructure Pipeline. How much is the funding? Char Dham. How much is National Infrastructure funding? NIP funding? 1 lakh crore. Anything else? What is this 111 lakh crore? 1 lakh crore. What is this 111 lakh crore? 111 lakh crore, right? So all this construction, government is the major creating demand of this sand. So government should itself have some policy. All these policies, the sand, how the demand will be, all this mapping is not done. Where is the sand available and where is the demand? They may not be at the same place. So how will optimum level, how we can do this? Because the demand is majorly coming from the government. There is scope for doing all this exercise. So that you can reflect in your way forward. Use of technology, how it helps? Surveillance, mapping, all these. What else? General public in mitigation efforts. Like riverbed is already destroyed. If some mitigation program is going on, then community program is much better. You can cite some examples regarding it. Kerala beach, in Kochi beach there is some clean Fort Kochi program, something like that. Homestay, there I think homestays were clubbed together and they did something to protect the pollution and all this. Something on example you can give, that will be fine. Blue flag initiative, yes, you can cite that. Certification, which beach is having India certification? India? Kochi have. Kovalam is also having. Abhi more or beaches bhi hai. That you can cite. So move ahead. So in conclusion, you will give a balanced conclusion. Economic consideration are there, but economic, environmental, that should be having a balanced outlook. Okay. Go to next question. What are impediments of disposing huge quantities of discarded solid waste which are continuously being generated? How do we remove safely the toxic waste that have been accumulating in our habitable environment? 10 marks. Very, very straightforward. Tell me what you are going to do. Why these impediments means? Issues, hurdles. Why our solid waste are not being properly discarded, or issues regarding that you will write. What else? How to remove this toxic. That will be 2 parts of your answer. Then way forward. I think way forward is not required. How to remove, you will write in a direction of way forward. Other measures you can write if you still want to write. Introduction, what you have done? कुछ नहीं लिखा. वर्ल्ड का 10% इंडिया में है. ट्रीट होता है. ओके. Out of total waste generated in India, only 10% is treated. You cite that data in introduction. What else? Per day or per year? Per day. You cite that data, how much waste is being generated per day or per year or whatever it is. You can only start with data this question. And this also some kind of a static touch to it. It is also not current affairs. Waste generation, what is the issues? Even for prelims, which book you follow? Shankar IAS, whichever book you follow for environment, there is section for this waste management, all this. So best introduction is data itself. These are some very big data. These are taken from CPCB annual report. That CPCB is making annual report on what? Solid waste management policies, how is it going on throughout every state. So they are making the report. This is data from there. And we have a collection efficiency of 95%. That's quite impressive. But there are so many issues, underlying issues associated with it. Segregation is not there. After collection also problems are there. Treatment is not proper. We will see that. This is per capita, how much is generated per day. Around 120 gram per waste per day is being generated. Go ahead. So how to generate points for this? Yeah, solid waste management, these are generic. Why we kept this is, this question can repeat. It's not, we are, instead of discussing exactly what is answer for this is a question that can repeat. So these are different steps of solid waste management. Starting from waste collection, these are basic steps you can think in the exam hall itself. Segregation, yeah, segregation. After that, storage at some mini storage setups, transportation, then processing, and after that disposal. What will be, suppose you have to write issues of it, think on these lines. In waste collection, what could be issues? No segregation. Segregation, we have other points. So what other issues can be? Who does the waste collection? Local bodies. They doesn't have the capacity, and very unscientific manner the waste is being collected. Even if at the source segregation is being done, suppose at home we are segregating the waste and giving, there is no system to take that in that way. They will mix it up and take it away. So all this you can write here. In segregation, lack of segregation is the major issue in the here. Storage, it is becoming a part of pollution. Leaching of land is happening. This you can cite. Transportation issues. Transporting waste is very costly. Cannot be transported like any other means. So you need so much investment into it. That is not provided. Like if you have a rough data on how this fund is going on, 70% of fund is being spent in collection itself. So all these processing plant, every other, there is high fund, lack of fund. In processing, what will you write? There are scientific methods. Like if it is a bio waste, it should be treated like this. If it is an organic waste, it should be treated like this. Incineration. What is incineration? Burning the waste. Which type of waste we burn, do this incineration and all? Harmful waste, something like biomedical waste and all. So where it should be done, how it should be done, all this we have lack of capacity. Processing capacity, we are still landfill approach. Major waste processing means still well landfill. That is the level many cities are functioning. Disposal also similar to processing after that. So this is one level. In issues you can follow this method, life cycle approach. Now if you have to suggest way forward, think on these lines. We done this for exercise for yesterday also, one question. Like local bodies, what they are doing, responsibility, think from the responsibilities of local bodies. What is responsibility of local body? All this initial part should be done by them. Collection of waste, segregation of waste, initial storage, all this should be done by local bodies also. State government come the next. State government should land allocation for this processing plant, or allocation of fund, budget, revenue, all this for plant, all this should be done at state level. National level, what you will write? Legal aspect, some policies, CRZ we discussed, something like that. How checking the accountability check should be there, Niti Aayog should be part of it. So all this can be done at central level. Global level means wastes are also being exported, imported also, which there is one convention for it, Rotterdam Convention, that is for hazardous waste. So we need such measures. Basel is also there, Basel Convention. Minamata is mercury related. Anyway, we need such a system so that we have this waste, if it is transported at cross boundary between countries, it is not happening that developed countries waste are being dumped in developing countries or least developed countries. That scenario we need to avoid. So we need mechanism for that also. Then you can think on these lines also. If nothing is working, apply this. What is this? Very direct. This also will work in many questions. But take it at the last. Otherwise, all 20 questions will become that. Okay, move ahead. So this is, what is the part of it? Impediments of disposing huge quantities of solid waste. Here we have done similar to what we have discussed. Waste collection, we have a 70% of fund is being dumped in waste collection itself. And that also I think started recently, this Swachh Bharat vehicle and all. After Swachh Bharat came, there was some impetus to it. Still the most of the impetus is in collection stage only. We need more things to happen. Segregation at source is not happening, even though it is by law, always should be segregated at source itself. Still it is, implementation is lacking. Dumping issues, open dumping is still followed. 90% of our dumping are unscientific, unsatisfactory methods. Technology gap, unscientific methods like we told incineration, all this is not followed. Okay, social issues, how, that's interesting. Informal sector means like rag pickers, they are still dominantly doing all these works related to it. They are not registered, they are not getting any benefits. They have severe health issues due to what they are doing, but still they don't have any health programs. They're out of the system. Informal sector it is. Social issues, how will you connect? Most of the people working in this sector are lower caste. So there is caste aspect to it, caste dimension to it, health impacts. So these caste vulnerable society, they are getting the troubles of all this due to this. Lack of awareness, local bodies have to do so much works. They are not aware of environmental impacts of so many waste. So all these issues, land allotment, sometimes there will be protest. If XYZ land is allotted for waste processing, there will be fear from local community that our environment will be polluted, so all this will come. Secondly, last point, you can write something related to consumerism, throwaway attitude, and still in cities you can see people having all big education, still throwing waste in the road, no civic sense. So all this you can connect with it. What happened? You done that? She does that. Whatever. Yeah, it's okay. Don't do that. Next. Move ahead. Got some structure, right? What you have written? Where you find gap? No data. You are not having any data. This structure you haven't thought of. That points didn't root. What else? You have written good. Yes. That you can do. Next part we will show that. That is also one very good approach. You can think from different types of waste and impact, what impact it is creating. Legal issues you have written. What is specific point? Rules. Yeah, yesterday we were discussing similar lines. This is a rule under a specific act, no specific legislation for that. We have Air Act, Water Act. Solid waste, we don't have much act. Very good, very good. Yes. Singapore, all these countries we are importing. What else? Unplanned urbanization, slums, rag pickers, all this you can connect with. Good. What else? What is next part of question? Here, this diagram you should by heart. Somewhere you will see 3R. 3R means only three part, this much will be there. Somewhere you will add recovery and disposal also. So whatever like waste management, some question come, this should be used as a keyword, you should be used as a diagram. You have to, how to use this is, draw this diagram, like reduce, reuse, then here you write how you can do this. If here this is regarding solid waste. So connect it with how you can reduce generation of solid waste, how you can reuse solid waste, how you can recycle solid waste. Give 2, 3, 5 points. Sometime question may be e-waste. So do whatever changes you have to do. Anyone drawn this diagram? You have drawn. What is that? Abhi draw kiya. Okay. Anyone drawn some other diagrams? This is like basic keywords which you should stick in your mind. Whatever waste management, circular economy, you should draw it in a circle, but it's very similar points you will get. Okay. And here how points are generated? Take pick. Let's see. Hi sir. Hello. So how this is generated points? Like he told, we are generating points with thinking from different kind of waste. Organic waste, toxic means it include everything. Don't just limit your answer to certain kind of waste. Everything that is too bad is all toxic. So organic waste, what to do? We need some waste to energy system, biogas, biomethanation, all these system we need to implement. Composting should be there, manure we will produce. In situ, ex situ. What is bioremediation? Some kind of microorganisms will be used to process these or waste, and it can be only applicable for mostly for organic waste. Now phytoremediation, what it is? Bioremediation, we use microorganisms. In phytoremediation, who will you use? We use certain kind of plants. Example, eucalyptus and all. Sometimes they have the capacity to absorb and keep waste to their root. So if some land is degraded, you plant there. But they are also like What? Invasive species. Lot of resources, they can damage the environment also. Still, it's an example. Inorganic waste may basically recycle whatever, mostly inorganic waste you can recycle. Mobile phones, all this. E-waste, what to do? What is urban mining? Not necessarily landfill. There like so many mobile phones. We will create a system so that to extract minerals, all this from these. Mostly from e-waste and all. So that is urban mining, that can be part of solution. You don't got. You didn't get. No or yes. Urban mining means like we all use mobiles, and every home there will be so many mobiles which will be useless. And these mobile all have which all elements? So many elements which can be recovered, which can be reused, all this is. So there will be some companies which will work on this. They collect mobile phones, they collect not just mobile phones, that's just an example. They collect all the urban devices, waste, all these things from urban areas. Then they try to extract minerals from that. That is urban mining. Biomedical waste, if it is organic waste, you go for processing, all this biomethanation, all this. If it is very dangerous, hazardous waste, then go for incineration, something like that. Radioactive waste, we already discussed in that nuclear, go for deep burial and all. Have fair idea? This is a very scope area where you can use diagram and it can be very effective also. Move ahead. So way forward, it's also not that much required. Still, we are doing it not just for this question, because it can be of use in some other means. Common waste facility, what it is? That is also part of it. Major is we have different kind of waste, biomedical waste, e-waste. So all this can be processed within a small range of area. One plant is not just for organic waste, but with this facility will be for different kind of waste. PPP model, that is recommendation by Niti Aayog, like we are making road. So in waste processing plants also we need private sector engagement to increase. What else? Legal aspects, like this rule is saying that in every 150 kilometer there should be some common medical waste processing treatment plant in every 150 kilometer throughout the country. In urban areas it is met, somehow there will be one, because demand is huge. But in rural area it came in 1998 after how many years? Okay, 20, 24 years, 25 years, 24 years. It's still lacking in rural areas. So we need something more to implement on these lines. Do away with landfill sites. Landfill site means that is very dangerous way of, anyway, you can connect with so many issues. So we need to get away with this. Health impacts to local society, leaching, water, groundwater pollution, so many issues with landfill. So even if you are using landfill, there should be covering of it, plastering of it. Scientific method should be, open landfilling should be avoided. Locality based approach, yesterday we discussed this, Alapura city, clean home, clean city. So what does that do? Waste processing is either done at homes itself, otherwise at ward basis. It's not like whole city waste will be collected to only those waste which cannot be processed at ward level or at home level, that waste only will be collected. Everything that can be processed within the local body system itself, they will make some arrangements for it. Best example is this, clean home, clean city of Alapur. Best practices, together for clean Kochi initiative. It's similar to what we have discussed right now. Colors of Panaji, what they did? Landfill free city, bin free city, something like that. Some good initiatives are being brought up. Vermicompost, organic waste in Andhra Pradesh. At least 2 examples you can think of that will work. Okay, move ahead. Conclusion, mostly you will cite some SDGs. Which SDGs are related to this? Water and sanitation, it is SDG 6 or 11 also, sustainable cities. Either of one you can connect with and give a decent conclusion. Or if you haven't used this, then you can use 3R strategy. This also as a conclusion. Okay, move ahead. Yeah. So this is third question. This is also very easy question. What is a wetland? What is wetland? Explain the Ramsar concept of wise use in the context of wetland conservation. Cite 2 examples of Ramsar sites from India. 3 questions are there. Very specific, very direct. Which all parts? Should we discuss parts? What parts you will write still for sake of it? You can club it with introduction. What is wetland? You will say. What is wetland? You have written like deep water habitat is the terrestrial, in that transition zone is wetland. Okay, anything else? Any other concept? How you defined it? Area around water body including the water bodies. Okay, ठीक है. What you dot? Four centimeter. Who told you all this data? ठीक है. Static or flowing, it is there. What is lake? Tell me what is lake. Prelims is coming. Lake wetland difference you will study. Like static you are saying. But you told flowing or static in wetland also. Then what is difference? What do you call it a wetland? This is wetland and this is lake. What is the difference? What is higher in lake? More water in lake. Anything else? Lake is also a wetland. Something like criteria is there. What is it? Something is something is more deeper than 6 meter. We call it as lake or water body, whatever it is. Something wetland includes all those. Next slide. Wetland include all those areas where there is water for some part of the year. Some land is there. Suppose in monsoon season, water it is covered for 2-3 months. All those areas where water is filled for either for few times of the year or throughout the year. All these include wetlands, and depth should be less than 6 meters. Idea is water covers the soil. Water covers the soil for certain part of the year, at least minimum. That is one part. That is generalistic definition. If you don't know exact number, 6 meter, 3 whatever it is, exact numbers you don't know, you write this kind of a definition. Idea is water covers the land for at least some part of the year, and how covered it is not necessary. Is this paddy fields a wetland? Paddy fields you have seen, right? There will not be water throughout the year. Only during that growing season there will be water. But that all comes under the definition. At some part of the year there is water. And technical definition is all those flowing, static, whatever water bodies you can think of. The idea is low tide does not exceed 6 meters. Within 6 meter height, wherever water is standing, all we put inside the definition of wetland. even not technical, but small lake with small depth, all this we put inside wetland. Okay. What else? Some data is there. India is having more than 2 lakh water bodies or wetlands across the country. 10 million hectare, more than 10 million hectare we have as water bodies. This is some ISRO survey done in 2011. Wetlands of international importance, that is under Ramsar Convention. We have how much? 75. Why 75? Earlier it was? Yeah, it is increasing every year. Like 47 was there few years back, then it became 64 recently, then 71st Independence Day was coming and government announced 11 more and made it 75. So it is 75 as of now, maybe more will still come. 5% around, more than 5% of area is, India area is wetland. So data you can use. In this question you don't have any choice to use data. Start with what is wetland, because exactly it is asked. Okay. If you don't know exact data, don't go to write 4 centimeter. That will backfire. Then give a generalistic example like this, like she has written. What she done? Transition zone bit. That is technically not correct, but still it is better than citing a wrong data. You can still remember, it's not a big tough deal. Go ahead. What else? What is this wise use? Wise use concept of in the context of, don't read all these and this. What you have written? You have come studied or not? This is one question, even if you didn't know anything, you should still write it. You cannot leave it. Wise use, even if you don't know anything about wise use, it is something related to wetland conservation. So sustainable development, all these elements you should combine it. So tell me how you approach this. You have written that part only. That have you written? Balancing economic aspect as well as environmental aspects. Anything else? Sustainable development aspect you have written. Exact definition you don't know, you still have to go ahead with this. Wise use can be that only, something regarding that. Maybe exact definition may be different, but still you get some marks for it. So what is wise use exactly? Thing is maintenance of wetlands so that their ecological character is not changed. What is ecological character? A wetland gives so much services. What services? Not just for humans, for biodiversity. Water will be there. Groundwater replenishment will be done. What? Resources, so many other resources. And so many food for these birds and all, migratory birds. So many other life systems are depending on this wetland. So that all services should not be changed or altered completely. Some little bit alteration, that not we are talking, but total character should not be changed. What else? Through implementation of ecosystem approach. What is ecosystem approach? Similar to is ecosystem means, what is ecosystem? There is something written. Like so many stakeholders are there. Like life is there, water is there, land is there, human beings are there, other life forms are there. All these have some certain stake in this wetland, and they should have some consideration. If you are making a design or plan or something construction is doing there, all their needs should be considered in the planning, considered in the design. That is ecosystem approach. So 2 basic keywords you should remember, then you can juggle with it. One is ecological character of the wetland should not be changed. Then whatever design you do the design. It's not like economic exploitation should not be done. Do the economic exploitation, but follow the ecosystem approach. Consider all other elements also. This is like something like another diagram which we are using for sustainable development. See, a system is there. System means other life forms. So many other life forms like frog, migratory birds, all these. People, values, all these should come into picture when you are designing the whatever XYZ in wetland. If nothing is working, you should write this. Conservation of the wetland plus sustainable use of the resources. If that two are coming together, we will say that some kind of wise use is happening. Okay? Okay? What else? What is next part? Give to, what is this? Wise use of, like it is a 10 markers. If you just define wetland, how much space it takes? 4-5 lines. More than that क्या define करेगा? Diagram भी नहीं बना सकता. If wise use also you defined, it will take other half page maybe maximum. Still we have pages to fill. What to do? Expand wise use. How will you expand? Last part of the question is also you cannot do much. It is side 2 examples are given. So you side 2 examples, write 2-3 lines of it, finish. Beyond that there is no much scope to add. So expand wise use. How to expand? What all constitutes wise use? What are the elements? What we do so that we can call this is a wise use? So give some examples regarding that. Like valuing productivity of the wetlands, livelihood, GDP contribution. Like if you are making a project, this should all considered. Flood mitigation function it will be doing. Aquifer recharge function it will be doing. Climate resilience, carbon sequestration. All these function wetlands are doing, like we told for this wise use. So all these elements should be considered. Just expand this what we are told before. No over exploitation, pollution should not be there. Community based approaches should be promoted. Bioright scheme. What is this? This is a specific example. Bioright scheme means if some community will be living based on livelihood, deriving livelihood from the wetland, give some money extra credit to them so that they will conserve the wetland instead of over exploitation or using some chemical fertilizers, all these kind of things. They may not be using it, so they will have some losses. To mitigate that as well as to protect the wetland, give some funding to people living around these wetland areas. So integrate they also into the part of wetland conservation. Use of ICT monitoring systems, you can drones, all you can connect with here. Go ahead. So this is also not part of the question. Why we are including this is if wetland is asked, wise use part is asked, and we are including wetland every year. Every prelims you are writing 20-30 new wetlands have been included. So there can be possible question on what criteria we are putting the wetlands in. Take pick together. I think we should stop this practice. Go to YouTube and so what is criteria? How to you cannot exactly remember all these criteria, exactly 1 criteria, 2 criteria, 3. This is what if you open the Ramsar website, you will get this something like this. So how to remember this? Criteria 1 you have to get this. What it is? Some kind of rare, unique, natural wetland type is there. Some kind of natural rare ecosystem is there. Then you can classify it as Ramsar. Now this criteria, these green lines, sorry, what is it? Blue color, you remember. Based on species and communities, you can give the Ramsar site to a wetland. Community or species means some endangered species are there, some vulnerable, critically endangered species are there, or something like that. This you can remember. Some endangered species are there, then you can give that as what? Ramsar site. What else? Based on water birds. If X number of more than 20,000 is the number. But remember that birds are also a part of it. If more than that 20,000 birds are visiting that wetland, then you can put that in the list. Otherwise, 1% of some individual species, population of some species, 1% of that species is being protected in the wetland, or they are dependent on the wetland, then you can add it. Other criteria is based on fish, bird, species, fish, something other, taxa like plant. So these are different aspect to it. Only these you have to remember. Exactly citing 9 criteria is not feasible, and that is also not recommended. But these bigger dimensions, fish, if it is having some important fish life, critically endangered, or you can cite, then you should add it. Some special plants are there, 1% of individual population is there, then you can add it as Ramsar site. This is only added, this is all not required in this question. We added because sometimes a future question in this regard comes. This is a very basic thing also, and government is juggling with it. So can be. So prelims relevance also to some extent. Go ahead. 2 Ramsar sites in India. Which one you will cite? If you remember recent one, cite that. Anything you can cite. There is full flexibility. If you remember something near to your home, cite that. If nothing is coming into mind, take the bigger ones. Chiliga, Wular Lake. This one should be in the Ramsar list. So put those into it. Wular Lake, Sambar Lake. Where is Sambar Lake? What is specialty of it? Saltwater inland lake. Okay, this you will do and write something about it. It is there. This is something. Just give a 2-3 line definition. What is the major challenges being faced? If something related to news it is there, then or any species is important related to it, cite that. Go ahead. Pick ho gaya. Not required. Chilling. Conclusion. Something like that is very, conservation of wetland is very important. You should take all these measures. Can we? Very difficult it is. SDGs is one approach. every question SDG you should not do. In GS3, 4 question, 5 question maximum. Rest 15 you have to find some other means. Schemes, it is very difficult. If there is some vision, like next question, what is Jal Shakti Abhiyan? So there is Jan Andolan, make this water conservation a Jan Andolan. So that is a vision of the government. So you can connect with some vision. That is exact scheme in conclusion, that look awkward. It will look like a specific point you are writing. Go to Ministry of Environment, Forest Science. Take some vision if they are wanting. Okay, move ahead. So we have last question. What are salient features of Jal Shakti Abhiyan launched by Government of India for water conservation and water security? So this is very similar to NCAP that we did yesterday. Sometimes they are asking very specific government schemes. Next year you are going, do prepare and go. Environment more importantly, because here there is continuous question. Some new schemes being launched this year, some new approach is being launched, then must prepare it in environment. Okay. So this question is very factual, we don't give too much time into it. So this was launched in 2019, Ministry of Jal Shakti. That time it was covering 236 blocks. How this 236 block is coming? Highly water stressed district, some data collection was done, and there were 236 blocks in India which are highly stressed. So in that blocks this scheme was implemented first. And what the point is? Campaign like water conservation, promotion, all this. Jan Andolan, making Something like Swachh Bharat, we are making another statement on water conservation also. So then it was extended in 2021, Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain. Like catch the rain where it falls, that was the, when it falls. That was the theme of it. Then it was extended to all districts in the country. So that's basic idea. That time you can only write this much. It was asked in 2020 and all. What more? These are different aspects of the schemes. Five different focus areas. Reuse borewell recharge structures. Water conservation. These are very generic points. Intensive afforestation. Watershed development. This, even if you don't know water conservation, what all measures it will take, you generate 5, 6, 7, 8 points. That will only work. If you exactly remember, then you can connect with some of it. These are some of the approaches, intensive areas approaches which is being used under the scheme. Something very interesting is 3D village counter mapping. This you can use it in way forward of some other questions. Village mapping that can have an impact on connect with scientists, IITs, urban water reuse, Krishi Kentra Mela. So all this point you can use as way forward in some generic question also. Okay, specifically too much learning on this scheme right now is then not cost effective. Still, if there is some considerable improvement in the scheme or changes, then you have to prepare before the exam. Got the idea? So what is it? Best practices, some case studies are given. What is this? Galmut Dharan Galyut Shiva. Some scheme of Maharashtra government. What they did is, they desilted all the water bodies. After that, the silt will be given to farmers for free. They have to pay something for transportation only. Then they take away the silt. What they do with the silt? Manure or put it in the, it is very, what? Fertile soil that is getting from the wetlands. So they can put it and put it in the fields and they will get. What else? Community led spring shed management, that is in Uttarakhand. Bundelkhand area, traditional water bodies were revived. Similar one is done in Andhra Pradesh also. Revival of dams, revival of, yes, Kakatiya Kingdom, old generation dams, Mission Kakatiya, that was done in Andhra Pradesh. Revival of traditional dams, traditional water conservation systems. Telangana it is. What is it? This is a new technique, FB Tech. What it is? See how we process the urban water. That becomes very inefficient. We need more infrastructure. So this company, this technology is imported from Singapore. You are making a statement on technology, somebody imported technology dependence. So this is also taken from Singapore. So what this company does is, like if a flat, there will be some amount of water. So this company will install a water recycling plant at a decentralized smaller levels for 1-2 homes, for a flat system, all this. So this can be scaled up. One international example based case study, which one you cite? Water conservation. Netherlands, maybe. Netherlands is famous for what? Case study, which case study you will cite? Flood management. Never heard of it. Go and check. Netherlands was one country like which was highly devastated through every year with floods. Then 1950s they started something like managing rivers, making dams, all this doing scientifically. I think after that they never faced the issue of flooding. So that is like world's best model for checking this flooding, Netherlands. Israel, yeah, Israel is very good example. You can cite for this water conservation. How much I think? Yes. Something Israel, around 85% of water they are recycling. 85% means that's very huge. They don't have water, that is one reason for that, but still. What else? Move ahead. Conclusion, you will connect it with some SDGs or something like that. So what is pending? We have 2 more questions for tomorrow on environment and biodiversity. One is for organic farming, rest of the question you should guess and write. Then disaster management, come prepared how to handle earthquake, how to handle landslide and all. Okay. So that's all for today. You can show the answer and we'll wind up. Thank you.